until Jim gets here.
Okay, well, we can't do much until he gets here though with Jason.
Right. We can't even approve any minutes.
Right, we got 2 sets.
Yeah. And I would imagine that we're all remote, and if there's any bills, then they would be on the table for Jim to look at. Is that a fair assumption?
That would be correct.
Okay.
And
Anything else?
No, I'd like to postpone the billing because I had some more questions pop up.
Okay.
And I still need answers to one from you and one from Jim.
Okay, me regarding Red Rock?
Yes.
Okay. I have no information yet.
Okay.
And I know I had told you I would talk to Jim to see how he did the Dickinson solar farm, and I have not had that conversation with Jim yet.
Okay.
Things have been a little hectic.
Sounds like Jim's on the line.
Hey, Jim.
Hello, this is Jason.
Hey,
Is it Jason and Jim?
Jim's here too?
Jim, Jason?
And Jason.
Okay.
Who do we have out there?
Okay. We've got
have,
everybody.
Yep.
We've got everybody, Jim. I did open the meeting at 5 o'clock. I'll let you take over. We did not accomplish anything.
All right, you're fired.
Okay, see ya.
Okay. Okay, first thing, administrative. Do we have anything? Do you know of anything, Will?
You got the folder there?
Yeah, I'm kind of just.
I don't know of anything.
Okay,
We have minutes.
we have minutes. That we do that.
You should have 2 sets of minutes.
Pardon me?
You should have 2 sets of minutes, August 10th and August 24th. I don't know if Kathy made copies.
Just so everybody knows, the August 10th meeting minutes can only be approved by myself, Lil, and Jason, as we were the only 3 in attendance.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written. I didn't see anything, any discrepancies or anything.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob Sheehan?
Aye.
Lillian Camus?
Aye.
Jason Smigiel?
Aye.
Rob?
Bob should abstain.
Abstain.
Jim Tromke abstains. Motion carries. Approved. Okay, the next set of minutes.
That would be just for myself, you, Jim, and Jason. I'll make a motion to approve the August 24th, 2020 minutes as written.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Lillian?
Abstain?
Rob?
Abstain?
Jason?
Aye.
Jim? Aye. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Okay. I don't see any bills here.
That's good.
Okay, we got an A&R for Carver Street. We looked at that at the last meeting. We didn't have a quorum to approve it. Mr. Sheehan had to recuse himself, and that only left Jason and myself.
And I will recuse myself again. Thank you.
Again? Okay. You're recused.
Yes,
You're recused.
thank you.
Has everybody had a chance to review the plans?
It looks like all they're doing is carving out another lot here, lot number 9.
Yes. 150 feet of frontage, 63,471 square feet, which exceeds the minimum requirement.
Is there a locus on here that I'm missing?
No locus, the right way. I believe we require the locus line. We have in the past, right along.
Right. So shall we ask Kathy?
What's that?
So shall we ask Kathy to contact them and submit updated A&R?
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually have it.
So that we don't hold them up, do you want to approve it pending the condition of the locus being supplied, and then everybody can go down and sign for it?
So we'll have to know when the plans get to Kathy.
Yeah, well, that'll be up to them to notify us, I guess. I mean, we didn't have a quorum a few weeks ago, so.
Mhm.
unfortunately, we didn't give it a second look because we didn't have a quorum.
Mhm.
And I'd hate to hold them up another 2 weeks. I would like to see someone make a motion to approve pending new plans in Mylar showing the detail of the locus.
I can make a motion to approve the A&R drawn by Durkee, Whitetown, and Chapter Lane dated August 8th, 2020, pending new plans and Mylar showing the detail of the locus.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Will?
Aye.
Jason? Aye. Jim? Aye. You there, Rob? Rob?
Aye.
Motion carries. Plans are approved pending new Mylar showing the locus.
So I'll ask Kathy to let them know that.
Yes. Okay. Okay, the next item, Kellogg Hall application.
I have to recuse myself from this because I'm in a butter.
Okay.
Bob should be
Has
back,
everybody seen the, pardon me?
but Bob should be back.
I am here.
Has everybody seen the letter that was prepared by Ken?
I have, yes.
I have.
I haven't.
Okay. I'll just read it real quick. The Granby Planning Board, at their meeting on August 24th, 2020, in review of the Granby Preservation Society application for 250 State Street, and determined that the application is incomplete. Some additional information will need to be furnished to ensure the complete review by the planning board, as the board has not taken action on this application to date. Some clarifications as to the proposed use of the building and the cold storage in the rear is necessary to determine the threshold of review. A narrative of proposed usage of these structures would be helpful for the board, particularly in the place of assembly is being proposed. For 6.33 of the Granby zoning bylaws, the planning board may waive requirements if the already submitted materials have been deemed sufficient at a scheduled public meeting. Please do not hesitate to contact the board with any additional questions. Sincerely. So, I believe that was our discussion at our last meeting, that it hasn't been approved for any specific use. And I think this outlines that basically they have to get approval from the building department, and what they have to do for the building department to determine that its use. And then it can come to us. Unfortunately, we don't, as I stated before, we don't know how many parking places are going to be required for the use. What type of access, egress. So I'm going to look for a motion to approve this letter to send to to Mr. Phelps. I believe he's the chair of the Preservation
And
Committee.
Mr. Phelps is here.
Hi, Mr. Phelps.
Hi, how are you? Yeah,
Good, how are you?
we have, good. I'm sorry we missed the August 24th meeting, but we didn't realize that we were on the agenda at that point. Yes, if you could give us a list of what you're looking for. I realize parking, access. We've met. We've had several workshops with the Gillum Collaborative over in Amherst, which is an architectural firm, and we have discussed the use, the floor plans, parking, and all that. You can give me an idea of what you would like from them. We have also had Bucky Sparkle, who's a civil engineer, over to the site, and basically we're just looking for an idea as to what you would like to know. We've had a meeting with the building inspector as well, and basically that's what brought on this whole map and all the things we've done so far. But if you'll just let us know what we need to provide.
Well, if you've hired a professional engineer and you've got a civil engineer on board, they'll be able to determine, based on your committee's desire to do what you want with that building, what you can do, and then they'll lay out the rest. They'll tell us what we need to review. We don't typically lay out a list of items that we're looking for, other than once they present, they're the professional engineers and architects, they'll present to us what they're proposing, and then we can review it and see if it meets the town bylaws.
So as far as the building department is concerned, the building inspector, does he come in before or after?
He should come in before. He needs to approve whatever your architect, your architect and engineers are presenting.
Okay. So in other words, this report from our architects would then go to the building department.
Correct. And they would approve it for the use group, for what you plan on using it for. And then, and then once they say we're going to use it for this, and then we review it to make sure that it meets the bylaws.
Okay.
Your professional engineer and architect be able to put all that together for them.
All right. Well, that would be helpful.
I think I speak for the whole board here. We're excited to see something being done with that building.
Well, believe me, we have certainly put in a hard 6 years, and follow the directions that we received from the early engineer and what the architects have already discussed. We had 3 workshops last fall in anticipation of this, so it shouldn't be difficult for them to put together a plan.
No, it shouldn't. It's what they do. That's what they do for a living. So
that's exactly okay. Is that what we pay them for? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Do you have any other questions?
Well, I think, are we going to receive the letter from Ken?
Yes, I'm going to sign it tonight, and we'll send it off to you, and you can forward it to your contacts.
All right. if you'd like to scan it and send it, you can send it to my email. I believe I've left that with all the applications.
Okay.
I'd save you a stamp.
Very good.
Okay.
Now for the board, is there any questions? Well, are there any questions from anybody else in the audience? Okay, any questions from any of the board members?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize you to sign the letter dated September 14th, 2020 to the Granby Preservation Society, care of Gary R. Phelps, as written.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Jason seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Jim is an aye as well. Motion carries. I'm signing as we speak. Okay, what else is on the agenda here? Okay, the bylaws, amendments. I think I don't know if everybody was last meeting. We can't do anything with these bylaws until there's an official town meeting set up 6 weeks prior to, or 6 weeks prior. I mean, we can still try and knock out some of the things that we were talking about, like rezoning and some of the other bylaw changes, but we can't hold a hearing. We can't do anything official until we get the word from the town administrator when there's going to be another meeting. Ken, you out there?
I'm here. Yeah, so I do think too that the work that some of the planning board members will be attending the joint meeting tomorrow with the Economic Development and Growth Committee. I think those rezoning matters will be somewhat addressed in what that report looks like. But as you said, Jim, at the last meeting, with regards to scheduling a public hearing to address any sort of zoning map amendments or bylaw changes, you want to have a date of the town meeting so you can work backwards and schedule that public hearing whenever that occurs. But I'm available to discuss the items that you've presented, or you've been presented. And if there's some adjustments that we can, talk through, we can do so. I believe, have the ability to share the screen. So if, the next meeting, if some of the board members are available to participate and see what's on the screen, we can maybe have a discussion on how to do that. We can, just have a work session rather than any sort of public hearing or, discussion of that. But I'm here to assist the board in however they wish to proceed with the map amendments and the bylaw amendments.
Well, we're going to discuss a little bit of that tomorrow night, I guess, with the Economic Development Committee.
Jim, if I may, I think we should get all our ducks in a row and try to do this chronologically. i.e. we have a meeting tomorrow with economic development and whatever other meetings we may have to have. And then we sit down maybe at a lone meeting, nothing else on the agenda, and try to hash through the proposed changes that we would like to present to the town. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does, Bob. I honestly don't think we're going to see another town meeting here until, second quarter next year.
Oh, that far out, huh?
Well, they're not holding anything indoors.
Right.
The weather's changing.
Correct.
So, I'm only thinking about it from that perspective. So I don't know when.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they're going to be. These are fairly expensive to rent tents and get things set up and get AV involved and all that. So
sure.
I don't know of anything happening anytime in the next 6 months, to be honest with you.
What I would like to lay caution to, though, is I personally don't want to have to go through what we went through in the rapid preparation of the marijuana bylaws. That was very fast paced. We got it done, but there wasn't an awful lot of time to really hash it out and think about it. I'd like to do it in more of a, rather than being under the gun, do it in a little bit more relaxed atmosphere regarding a timeline.
Yeah, and I agree. It could be done more thoughtfully that way as well, rather than rushing something. So, and again, this is, I say this time and time again, this is a living document. So we can, whatever we do in the next in the next year or whatever, it doesn't mean it's final. If there's things we missed, there's other things that we need to address, we should stay on top of it.
That's true.
So, but I think some of the rezoning that's been asked of us from economic development on the different corridors we've been talking about, I think, that's basically what we're looking to do right now. I mean, last year, or in the past year, I should say, we've changed zoning on business lots, estate lots. I think we've done some pretty good work that's laid out some options for some development in town that will help the tax base. Without affecting the small town atmosphere, the common area and all that we're still trying to preserve. So
I would agree with your thought.
I know the 202 corridor project has been pushed back a little bit. We could talk about that tomorrow night. So Jay seems to know a little bit more about that.
Okay.
I know they were trying to get some water infrastructure in during that process so that we could, jump on board, maybe cost the town a little bit less. But I know like you said, it's been delayed a little bit. Who knows? Maybe it's been delayed even more now, given the circumstances of everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't think we have anything else tonight to discuss. If somebody else wants to bring something up, I know we're at 6 o'clock. Go ahead.
There is one more thing, just so the other board members know. Tomorrow night, I will be signing off at 6:30. I have another meeting that I have to attend, just so everybody knows.
Okay. Well, if you had
Jim?
if you had two phones, you could attend both.
You are correct, but I'm not ambidextrous.
What's that, Will? You were saying something?
Three things. Review billing was on the agenda, but I'd like to postpone it as some more questions came up and I still need an answer from you and, Bob on two of them. And regarding square footage, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
That's- So if we can postpone that till next meeting.
Okay.
And what I have on the minutes, agenda items for Monday, September 28th. Do you have anything in particular? I have review billing, and that's about it.
Well,
Well, maybe
I think based on what comes out of tomorrow's meeting, maybe we can give Ken some direction, and if we need to, if Ken can get back to us with some information to discuss, fine. Otherwise, unless something else comes in from Kathy, we won't meet.
Okay, so I'll just leave administrative and review billing for now, see what comes up.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Now, can we quickly go through the open items, action items?
Absolutely.
They're probably all closed by now. Okay, so here we go. First one is Ken draft letter to Granby Preservation Society regarding additional information needed. That's done. Another one for Ken, set up a joint meeting with the Economic Development Committee. That's done. I was to ask Kathy Leonard to contact Leo Fugler to attend our next meeting to answer board questions. That was back in August, which we've already completed. Ken was to draft an extension letter to Mr. Katowitz, which is done, correct?
Yes, that was signed off on last meeting, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Ken research current town bylaws to see if the 115 North Street business plans are allowed. That's completed. How can we hold a public hearing? Jim, that was yours way back to August 10th. I would say that's completed. And Jim signed the PVPC contract for fiscal year 21, which you did. Signed the A&R for Carpenter, which those that needed to did. I was to check on the availability of Senior Center for July 22 or 23 meeting. We're getting old here now. That was done. Couldn't do it. Phase 2, Cape Pine Estate, Jim to check with Town Council regarding signing an extension letter, which you did. Jim, you were to, yeah. Jim, you were to check if Trout Lily Lane was accepted by the town. Not sure that was ever resolved, was it? You did not?
Why were we doing that? Refresh my memory.
I don't know. That was back to July 28th. That was due.
Okay, wait a minute now. I did check on that. That's because there was a discrepancy with an easement.
Oh, that's
and
right.
The town attorney was going to follow up with DPW, I believe.
So you've done what you needed to do.
So basically what it was there was a piece of property that was changing hands. And the buyer's attorney had concerns about the easement, which had really nothing to do whether the road had been accepted or not.
And it doesn't really have anything to do with us right now.
Correct.
Okay, so that one's done. Next one, resend sample town bylaws regarding venues to board that Ken Comey sent. That was mine, back July 13th, that's done. Obtain the final billing numbers for Borrego Solar. I have that will be gone over at the next meeting. Research original billing for Granby Solar for square footage. That was for you, Jim, and I did that and sent it to you.
Say that again, Robin, sorry.
Research original billing for Granby Solar LLC, Dickinson Farms, for square footage. So you can figure out how much to bill for this second time around.
I thought that was Bob's action item.
No, Bob has,
Red Rock.
thank you. I spaced it for a moment. He has Red Rock on that one.
How'd you do on Red Rock?
Well, that's something that you and I have to talk about. I was wondering how you did Granby Solar LLC, because there are no building plans. I've checked with the building inspector. There are no building plans on file yet currently for Red Rock, you know, to be able to determine, you know, the concrete pads that might be used for the utilities, the number of solar panels, how many posts support each one, so that we could, or so that I could come up with a square footage to be able to bill. Like I just said, I did talk with Greg Briggs, and he has nothing to date. The only thing that we have are the general overviews of the plan that we approved. But all that is, you know, more topographical and layout, that kind of stuff. No hard dimensions, and no, there are no details for the construction or the supports and everything for the solar panels themselves. Another question that I had, and I discussed this a little bit with Lil, I think that Red Rock is going to fall underneath the new bylaws too, and things may have to be changed.
But we still need to bill for what we did beforehand.
Okay, but we have nothing, no information that we can use for a billing purpose in the in like what I just said.
Mm.
Ken, how are other towns permitting these projects?
Some are still doing by, oh, I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Oh, were you talking about solar projects and permitting?
Yes, yes.
With regards to, are you maybe talking about like peer review and how that's paid, or or like following and monitoring the construction process?
No, the initial permitting. The town of Granby.
So yeah, if there's an issue,
bills by the square footage of the foundation or the footing, and it's kind of a weird way to be doing these things.
for like the decommissioning, is that what? Is you're requiring a bond to be delivered prior to the initial permit, or to start that construction?
No, to get the initial permit, other than we always leave ourselves open for peer review, but
Mhm.
I mean,
I've seen it where as a condition of, so I guess I'm trying to think. What
well, you don't have to give us an answer tonight, but if you could find out. I mean,
Okay.
Ludlow's put some in. How are these communities charging them for the permitting process, other than peer reviews?
Ken, one of the things that other towns are doing, some of the other towns they're billing back by how much, and I don't know the exact wording on this, but how much wattage is being used or that sort of thing.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Yeah, I know a couple of towns already have those in their bylaws that have been approved.
So you're basically as someone submits a permit or as an applicant submits a permit, in addition to the permit application, there's a fee attached and you are charging the fee based on, well, currently you're looking at the
Square footage.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, that's something something the select board does
Okay.
that's more of a taxing purpose. What I'm talking about is what are other towns doing to charge for permitting, the permitting process.
I'll send you a sample.
I haven't found any difference with regards to solar. If it's a special permit, they usually have a lump, fee. It's usually like $500, and these are, the communities that I've interacted with. The charge to the town, or the money that's collected by the town and stored with the planning board's accounts, are typically what the what would be identified as a decommissioning bond. I haven't. I don't know if it's typical that towns charge a permit fee other than what is the amount to administer the planning process. I think, as you've been doing with utilizing PVPC for the planning component of going through a public hearing, and what you would be doing when you go to peer review, those would be the costs that are levied to the applicant. Some towns do have additional costs for other types of uses, but the towns that I'm currently working with, I don't have any additional. There's no additional fees for permitting other than whatever they charge for a special permit or a site plan review. Usually it's to cover advertising or whatnot, if the advertising is done by the town, or for just administering fees. But I can take a look to see, with regards to solar, what other communities are doing.
Okay, I'd be curious to know that. I mean, we can't change it now. For past, we may want to consider something different rather than just try to figure out how many footings have been put in the ground at 6-inch footings multiplied by, and doing that kind of crazy math to figure out what we're charging them.
And so you would expect that payment along with the application? Is that what you're saying?
We should. That's right. We should be getting it with the application, because if it fails, there's work that's been done, expenses that have occurred, that if it fails, it's pretty tough to get your money back.
Yeah.
Well, we could go another avenue with that thought, Jim, in that just as the building department charges for a building permit based on the square footage of the structure you're going to build, we could leave that up to him or her, whoever the building inspector is, to charge that as at that time when they come in for the physical building permit.
Well, they don't get a building permit until they have a site plan review, and we can't do a site plan review unless we charge them X amount to go through the process. Right,
and I'm not negating that. I'm just saying that when it comes time for them to go for the actual building permit, that the building inspector would say, okay, you've got 600 posts at half a square foot each, times however much they charge per square foot, and the check gets made out then.
For the permit, the building permit.
Correct.
I'm just talking about what we're charging for a site plan review.
Right. But I was talking about what I was being charged with figuring up a bill for Red Rock, which I thought we've already billed for. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we've already billed for the site plan review, the peer review, and all that other stuff. They should be current to date.
No, we
I
haven't.
would hope anyway.
No, we
We
haven't. 'Cause
haven't.
all those- No, that's why I'm trying to get these things through. We've got very old projects that haven't been billed back.
Oh, I misunderstood then.
Yep, that's under the whole thing, because the numbers I didn't have were Kathy's, what she's incurred for the public hearings and all that sort of stuff, which she gave me. But then now it's their square footage. And all that gets filled at one time. And they've had money, different projects have had money in escrow, which I've got an accounting for through May. I have to ask for another accounting.
But shouldn't
Red Rock
there already
Red Rock
be?
doesn't have anything in escrow though, correct?
Let me look.
If they did, they'd be hollering for it back.
Borrego, yep, Red Rock. Red Rock deposited $3,800, and we had the bill from, I'm assuming for the peer review, $3,305. So they have a balance left of $495.66 as of May. Wait, no.
Okay, but
Wait, that's the, ignore what I just said. That's the Conservation Commission. Ours, they gave us $1,600. The peer review was $1,490, so they have $110.24 sitting that we have to reimburse them. Well, we'll, credit that on the bill, but
But that doesn't include advertising and that sort of thing, right?
correct, which wipes it out just about entirely.
as well as Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, hours devoted to that, and abutters mailings.
Right.
So those
why
numbers have to be.
Why did we accept the application if we didn't have the proper funds in place?
What do you mean?
Are you saying why did we approve the application if we didn't have the proper funds? Why did we
approve it, and we didn't approve it? Why did we accept the application without the proper funds in place?
Well, they had $1,600. We said that was it. We didn't ask them for any more.
Where did that number come from?
That was a guesstimate as to how much the peer review would be. And the peer review was $1,490. We never asked projects for the whole, a gigantic amount of money ahead of time before we approve anything.
So I think the best thing we could do right now is see what other costs have been incurred with this, including advertisement,
Mm-hmm.
and send them an invoice for that rather than try to figure out and just
So you're
recoup
gonna
our cost.
You're gonna forget the square footage? Because that's in our fees. It's in our fee schedule.
I'm not saying to forget it. I'm just saying that we got to at least get back what we spent, what the town spent. And if that's based on the square footage, then send them a bill for the square footage, and hopefully that covers the rest of our costs.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out, the square footage.
But we can't find out the square footage because there is not a detailed building plan. And I think to try to move forward on this, what we should do, we should tackle it in two more steps. The first step being, let's find out about the time that Kathy has involved, the cost that the town has laid out for advertising and other sundry stuff, as well as what Ken or Pioneer Valley Planning Commission time is that was billed, and let's send out that invoice, knowing right now that Red Rock still has a balance, not much, but and then when it comes time for the square footage, that be done at the building department end, just as they would do when you're trying to build a structure.
I think that's kind of backwards. So we won't get.
Well, if we don't,
because
if we don't
have.
But if we don't have the plans that are showing any kind of detail on,
Right.
The number of panels and that kind of stuff, how can we bill?
I thought at some point we had that. We had to have had that.
No, we just had kind of not a conceptual thing, but it showed the two solar fields, Ludlow, Granby, Hampden, Hampshire County. The proposed layout. I don't know that there was a number set on the number of panels that were going to be used. It may have been based on kilowatt.
Yeah. What was that, Jim?
And go ahead, Jim.
They got caught up in the process when there was a moratorium on it.
That is correct. They fell into that gray area.
They did submit plans, detailed plans, because they showed us because they were already pre-approved with Ludlow. They showed us plans of where the project was going, where the access was going to be, I think they were, where the transformer was, where they were going to tie in on the power poles too.
Mm-hmm. But they fell into that gray area because there was proposed bylaw changes that they being Red Rock, would whatever new bylaws were accepted by the town or approved by the town, they would fall under.
Yeah, they got caught in the middle.
That's right.
But in their drawings, they show, and that full set of drawings, I'm looking at them online now. It's gonna be kind of hard to count how many, but they show all sorts of drawings of where panels will be lined up.
You are correct, Lil. However, they don't show a detail of how many poles or supports hold each one up. So there's no way to
go ahead.
determine that. There's no way to determine what the fee would be without knowing the number of support structures.
Well, on page 14, very last page, it shows a shows a drawing, and it's got a concrete. I have to make it bigger. Oh, compacted subgrade. I thought these were just pins going in the ground. There wasn't any concrete pads that were going in.
That is correct.
So
And
you
that's what
only
we don't know.
Well, it's up to the board. What do you want to do? Do you want to just, it's 10 cents a square foot, so.
I mean, at this point, would we be able to come up with an average per solar panel and figure out, you know, if they're not putting a concrete base in and we need to figure out a square footage, can we somewhat meet in the middle on this and come up with a square footage per panel? Would something like that make sense?
Maybe. But you're talking about how big the whole panel itself is, as opposed to just the pin it's sitting on?
No, not necessarily. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we come up with, you know, figure each solar panel, say maybe, you know, 1 foot by 1 foot. So 1 square foot per panel or something like that, if we come up with a solution like that.
Hmm.
The thing is we have to be accurate to some degree,
Right.
you know, so that they can't contest it. You know.
Right.
And yeah, I'm looking at all the typicals and they're yeah, there's nothing that is definite on these panels.
Right. It's not like with other projects we've had, here's the panel, here's what it looks like, here's the manufacturer's specs on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But we didn't,
so
we
let's
didn't
not
have
be,
that.
let's not be, go back to the bylaws. And in the bylaws, we have small, medium, and large projects
In the fees.
and fees.
Right.
Let's call it a medium project.
Let's see, Kathy has down $800. I have to look at the fees here.
Or call it a small project, whatever is going to recoup our expenses. But going forward, we shouldn't be accepting any applications until we've defined what the application fee is.
Okay, I'll get that together for the next meeting.
Does that make sense?
Now, what are you gonna do about the Granby Solar? Because you were asking for the square footage on that, which we billed them the last time. So you wanted to know what the original billing was, and I sent that to you. We were looking for square footage on that one too.
Yeah, that was a different project, though. They actually have some pretty large pads out there with some buildings.
Right. So that's done, but I still need that number for the part in the action item list was me getting you the original billing. So that's done. You just have to decide. We can do that at the next meeting. You know, you can figure it out before the next meeting, what I sent you.
Okay, I'll take another look at it.
Okay, we're going back to June now. Send the board information on Westover Metropolitan Development Corporation. Ken, that was yours way back June 23rd. I think you might have sent something. I think you gave us a link to what was on the PVPC website.
That's correct. That's the Westover joint land use study. And that was specific to identifying the zones that were part of the planning process for Westover. And I think I shared that with the board with a link.
Yes, and the last one is for me to check with Chris Martin regarding the proposed scope of the DLTA grant that Ken Comia sent. And that's done. So look, we cleared the list. Woo-hoo.
Nice.
Now you
That's
can
all I
sleep
have.
tonight.
Yes, I can.
If I may, board,
Go ahead.
I think, I don't know if there has been an official announcement. I believe Lil was attached to an email, but with regards to the MVP action grant that the town applied for, I believe Dave DeRozier will be confirming the grant monies and the grant that the town did receive and was approved for. So the board will probably have some responsibility in some of the initiatives that the town applied for, and that's specific to the stormwater bylaw and an update to the master plan through the lens of resiliency. That's specific to the initiatives identified in your community resilience building workshop, which makes you an MVP community and available to get that grant. So probably within the next coming weeks, you'll be hearing possibly from us. But I know Dave will probably be trying to figure out how to, get going on that contract and that work. The grant is until the end of the summer of next year. So there'll be some work that the planning board will have to, be engaged with for that grant.
Ken, I didn't see an official announcement yet. I just saw something from Catherine Rattay saying, yeah, you guys got it.
There's no official announcement other than, that was my understanding based on, I think Dave is still working with the grant agency with refining any scope of work. But the official announcement will come from the governor.
Okay.
Yeah, but I believe Dave, and I don't know if Dave had that conversation with the state yet, but it's something that the planning board should be aware that the two things that the town applied for with regards to that MVP action grant, the planning board has responsibility in some of those outputs. Specifically stormwater and of course the master plan.
Right, but we don't know the amount of the grant yet.
Correct. Not officially.
Okay.
Well, what is it unofficially, Ken?
Unofficially would be the total that the town applied for, which I believe was 35,000, where because the master plan, it's not a full update of the entire master plan, it's to address, you know, some of the MVP and resilience type infrastructure improvements so that the master plan includes those items. I think that's like 16,000 or 17,000, and then the stormwater is the other. It's like it's almost split down the middle with regards to the amount of work for each of those. So yeah, I mean, the stormwater is probably the most urgent with regards to MS4 permits needing to be compliant with EPA standards by the end of next summer. So, you know, assuming, and I don't know if Dave will be contracting with PVPC, but if that's the case, then more than likely, you know, we'll be in touch, myself or another staff member with regards to that, of which the planning board or a component of the planning board may participate in that discussion.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
That's all I have.
Rob, you still with us?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Bob?
Aye.
Will?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.